Starting off, Chief, what can you tell us about the area where Brenda Duncan's vehicle was located yesterday?
We located that vehicle, or it was located yesterday, mid-afternoon, and it is northwest of Tavistock, just inside Perth County boundary. And the area has been described to me as quite rural, no homes or buildings anywhere really too close. It's a beautiful area from what I'm told.
It looked, I mean, I just kind of looked it up on Google Maps, and it looked to me as if the intent was to conceal the vehicle or hide it from...
That I don't know. Actually, I haven't been to the scene myself. Inspector Renton has been to the scene. I asked that question myself as to how visible was or was not, the vehicle was or was not, and he really didn't have a lot of detail at that time. The van has now been seized by the OPP and has been taken to one of their garages, and right now there are many OPP officers. I'm envisioning about a dozen or so or more up in that area doing a ground search, and if necessarily we'll call in police dogs to assist with that search, and if necessary we'll take it one step further and call in the helicopter again too.
Was anything found in the vehicle that you can...
There was some personal property found in the vehicle. I can't disclose much more than that right now. It's still an active investigation, and like I said on a number of different occasions, we're keeping our investigation open to all possibilities. And until the end of the investigation, when we can make a final determination, I'd rather not speculate or release too much information that might be sensitive.
Right, so this doesn't really point to a sign of, that she's run away or that there's someone else involved.
No, really any discussion on those issues would be pure speculation right now. I think it's a very important, critical, pivotal point that we've found the vehicle. I do believe it's going to lend us to advancing this investigation a great deal. But right now the investigation is still very much underway, and the investigators will sift through what we have found up there and continue the ground search to see if we can locate Mrs. Duncan or some indication as to where she might have gone.
Before, you guys had been looking to the south, Norwich down to Port Rowan, and now that her vehicle's been located up north near Tavistock, has there been anything to suggest why, that area?
No, actually, we have no, just like when Mrs. Duncan left the residence, she could have gone any direction from that point forward. We really had no evidence, no indication from any witnesses as to where specifically to look, but through the interviews that were conducted by the investigators, there was some indication that she frequented the Point Rowan area just during her recreation time, that she enjoyed that area. And so we thought that might be an area to look into. We also were looking at Norwich because she spent a great deal of time there through her employment. Again, we were just a hunch. We were searching that area pretty thoroughly. We did bring the helicopter in to search the city of Woodstock and the surrounding bush area. But where do you draw the line? It's a big province. And, Mrs. Duncan was gone for 10 or 11 hours before police initiated the investigation, and a lot of ground can be covered in that time.
Anything further now that the public can do to help in the search?
Well, right now our investigation is going to focus on that area northwest of Tavistock. If anybody who drives that area regularly has any information about the Mazda 5, the red Mazda 5, we'd certainly encourage them to call into either the OPP or the Woodstock Police Service and provide us with that information. It might help us if we do have witnesses out there that saw the red Mazda 5 pulling into that area, going off the road. It might help us with some timelines, or if there were any other vehicles or people in the area.
Chief, you mentioned Inspector Renton being out in the area. How many other police officers from Woodstock Police are been deployed?
Right now our criminal investigation unit should be out there with Inspector Renton, and it's very much a ground search right now. It's not so much an investigation that involves a lot of interviews, because there's none to conduct out there right now. What this is very much a ground search, and that's where the OPP used their ERT team to cover the ground.
Now, last week you said that you weren't suspecting any foul play. Has that changed at all since the discovery of the vehicle?
Our investigation hasn't changed direction at all. We're still leaving all possibilities open until we locate Mrs. Duncan and find out exactly what has happened, to the extent that we can through investigation. It would be improper to speculate or draw any predetermined conclusions right now, because we just don't have the full picture. I do hope that very shortly, perhaps today, within the next few days, we will have a better handle on what's gone on.